Hi, welcome to Ear for Fear. This is the podcast that talks about scary movies or movies trying to be scary. I'm Rick, and today we are joined by one of the creeps himself. Morris Holman's in the house.
Hey, what's up?
Monster Movie Man 13. Make sure you check him out. Today, you and I are going to be talking about 2019's The Wretched. Before you and I jump into this, let's do a quick synopsis. A defiant teenage boy struggling with his parents' imminent divorce faces off with a 1,000-year-old witch who is living beneath his skin and posing as the woman next door. All right, man. So The Wretched, 2019. I think I recommended this one, right?
Yeah, I think it's been on our radar for a while.
It had. You'd seen it before, right? Or no?
No, I just watched it last weekend.
Oh, okay.
For the
That was
first
the
time.
first time. Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
you had seen this one.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I remember coming across it. I'm not sure where. Maybe it was just like on YouTube or something. And it just sounded kind of interesting. I think I watched a trailer for it. I'm like, hey, let's check this out because I hadn't seen it before.
And you probably sent me the trailer because we'll do that back and forth.
We do that
Yeah.
a lot. Like, hey, dude, check this out, and
Yeah.
vice versa. And but I right off the bat, I mean, I liked this.
Mm-hmm.
Again, didn't love it,
Yeah,
but I liked it. I thought it was a decent, flick.
I think we were thinking this would be more indie, kind of like an A24 movie.
Yeah.
Similar to that style. And when I had seen it, I think all I told you was that it's more straightforward.
Yeah, more streamlined, right?
Yeah.
Like something that would go in the movie theaters. Like
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of these indie ones just go like straight to wherever.
Right.
Some streaming service or straight to Blu-ray or whatever it is,
Exactly.
And I think what I guess right off the bat, what I thought was, and this is probably dumb, but when I think of more indie stuff, I think the music itself is more relatable to, say, indie. And so when this first started up and the music kicked in, it felt more big budgety, more Hollywood, less indie.
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of laid down the foundation as the movie went along. I don't remember this going into the theaters, but when you and I think we were watching a YouTube video and it said that at one point during 2020, because of the pandemic,
Right.
this was like number one at the box office for like 5 weeks. I'm like, huh?
Weird.
How's that even? I don't even remember it.
Yeah, it's like, well, because a lot of stuff during the pandemic, I guess we just missed it.
We missed it.
Yeah.
But damn, dude. I mean, so I guess in North America for 5 weeks, this was number one.
And at the drive-in.
At the drive-in.
Right.
Okay, at the drive-in. Let's be clear. But yeah, like my initial thoughts, it was good. It was slow a little bit for me, and I'll be honest, like it was a bit confusing for me, so much so that you and I had to watch a couple YouTube videos just to try to get other people's I don't know, explanations.
Yeah.
I guess if this is a movie you watch maybe 2 or 3 times, that maybe you start catching some of this stuff that you just didn't know about.
Right.
But the bottom, I guess I don't want to say the bottom line of this movie, but we are introduced to Ben. Ben is a teenage boy who looks like he's going to go stay with his dad. And not really sure why at first.
But before that, we get a
35 years prior, right?
Yeah, like a little flashback.
35 years prior.
And it's none of our main characters. It's just it's a babysitter going to a house and in the rain. And She's going to go babysit. Her mom calls her on the phone.
Or no, she calls her mom, right, to check in.
Oh yeah,
because this would be sometime in the 80s, and we're to assume it's the 80s because we see a Rubik's cube,
no
and
cell phone,
cell phone. Yeah,
she's using
some rotary phone. Etch-a-sketch. It's like how do you quickly convey 1980s? Oh, let's throw a Etch-a-sketch and a Rubik's cube and a rotary phone. And so the babysitter it doesn't really see anyone in the house. She calls her mom to check in. Her mom thinks she's hooking up with the guy, and she's like, "No, I'm at so and so's house and I'm babysitting." And so, but she notices flowers and plants are dead. She hears a noise coming from the basement. Of course, there's always a noise that comes from the basement, right?
So there's like nobody around. She's obviously to babysit. She goes down the dark basement. And
I don't know about you. I'm never going down into a basement that's dark. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
But okay, it's kind of a trope, right? It's like, so she goes down there and she sees a picture of the family with the dad's eyes crossed out.
Right.
And of course, we're going to see this throughout this film. And then she goes around the corner and it appears the mother of this household is
cradling her daughter.
Yeah, but she's
feasting on her.
Feasting on her, yeah. And so she sees this, runs up the stairs. The dad closes the door. And then we see the symbol that we're going to see throughout the movie. It almost looked to me like an upside down A, but more, what's the word? Earthy. Yeah. Earthy, right? I guess, is that the right word? Earthy?
Earthy. It also, it's almost like Druid ruins. Runes. So Druid runes, a rune is like a symbol that means something in like Druid folklore.
Okay. There we go.
Folklore being tied into, it could be Wiccan witchcraft, its own little thing. So yeah, it's very old. It's an very old symbol, I guess.
So then we fast forward to almost present day.
Yeah.
Right? Because when we go to present day, but it says 5 days earlier.
Oh no.
Didn't it say that?
No.
I thought it did.
No.
No? Okay. Oh. So was it just present day?
It was just present day.
Oh, because I thought it said 5 days. I thought at the beginning when he's on the bus, it said 5 days earlier.
Oh, no. So,
no?
Oh, let's see. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. So when he is on the bus, so we're first introduced to Ben.
Yeah.
He's drowning.
Yes. We see like a kind of premonition or something
and then he wakes up.
Yeah.
And then it says 5 days earlier.
Yeah, it does say 5 days. Okay, so I was right. It does say 5 days earlier.
And then we see that drowning thing come back later.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so it is 5 days earlier.
Right, from that
which I thought was kind of weird, Rick. Why would you say 5 days early? I don't know.
It's confusing, but I mean, when you think back on it, okay, we know what 5 days.
Sure.
It's not from the 35 years. It's from...
But let me ask you
this. It's from him drowning.
And again, it's probably not really relevant, but is the 5 days earlier necessary in the scope of the story? Not really. It's just there.
They just could have had him drowning and he woke up from a dream of drowning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we see he's got a cast on. One of the passengers in the bus says something about what a nice artwork or something. I don't know.
Great art job that you're doing there.
Yeah. And again, all these things are going to come into play later.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what we forgot to do? And we forgot to do this in the previous episode. Full spoilers.
Spoilers.
I think though anyone who listens to us, they know we're going to spoil the movie. But yeah. And so he gets off the bus. He's in this small little town. He goes to the kind of general store and I think he probably grabs a drink or something.
There's nobody there.
Yeah, no one's there. These small little towns, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's like, these small little general stores, and it basically has like a little bit of money on the counter and says, hey, make your own change. And he's like, I'm going to go steal these suckers.
Yeah.
And then the dog that's in the store is like, yeah, that's not happening, buddy. And so
starts barking at him.
I got you. And he puts the money on the counter. But does he end up, is he going back to his dad's house?
Yeah.
Shit. I feel like I missed something.
Oh, no,
here.
no. He's going back to his dad's house.
Yeah. Why wasn't dad there to pick him up? Because dad was working? I don't
Probably
know.
working.
Yeah. So dad's making his famous Coney dogs. I don't know, these chili dogs or something.
Yeah.
These didn't look that great, man. They're not so famous to me.
And then Ben's looking at the TV, and then you could tell it's an old CRT. It's an old CRT TV.
It's an old TV, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, Dad, there's no HDMI hookup back here. And he's like, oh, well, what did he say?
Something about just find a plug for it or plug it in or something. I don't know. But he's not understanding the whole idea of an HDMI.
Yeah. Which it's not, that TV's not going to have it.
It's not going to have it. But then they're eating dinner outside.
Oh no! And then the dad brings out a bike for him.
Well, around the same time they're eating outside, though.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, they're eating outside. They're eating these famous Coney dogs or whatever.
Dogs, right.
And he brings them this bike that no teenage boy is going to be caught riding.
Right.
It's got like a metal basket. That's not happening. And Dad, look, I got my license. And so, but
he comes off a little ungrateful.
I don't know. I didn't really think that.
I think the dad's trying.
Well, yeah, but the reaction to me would be like any reaction a normal teenage boy would give to his dad when he brings out a bike with a basket and I have my license.
Right.
I didn't feel like he was ungrateful. What I thought was weird was the Connect 4 on the table.
Right.
And again, this is going to come into play later, folks.
Right.
I'm sorry, but I thought that was weird. I'm like, he's 15, 16?
He's playing Connect 4 with his dad.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that was a little weird to me. Then Dad brings up briefly, hey, we want to talk about your broken arm. Yeah, Dad, not right now. Maybe later on.
Yeah.
And so I think now we kind of fast forward a little bit and he's working a summer job with his dad. His dad runs is this Marina?
Marina.
And so I don't know what his job is. I guess he's kind of just helps out. Anyone that has questions, they need help with.
He's kind of like
life jackets.
He's
whatever.
a marina jockey.
Yeah, is that what that is? What would you call this job?
A marina jockey.
A marina jockey.
Yeah, because he's when or marina caddy.
Okay.
Marina jockey. It's somebody that you just give a task to. You just do it. Okay. You just empty trashes, hook up boats, tell people where they go.
Yeah.
Maybe fill up gas.
And this is, and Dad's name is Liam, right? So we got Dad, and then we're introduced to Mallory. And Mallory is going to be kind of Ben's, I don't know, love interest. I don't know.
I would say
love interest is,
love interest, friend.
And she's a little quirky. At first you kind of think she's hella serious, but then she's just messing with them about the whole, hey, you got to watch your language around here.
And then she's also, nepotism for the fact that he has a broken arm and he's able to have the job.
Yeah. Come on, people. We all know nepotism rules, right?
Yeah.
But let's see here. Where do we go from here, man?
Then we were introduced to some jerks that are trying to, you notice that there's, I guess
they're grabbing a barbecue to put it on the boat, which is not really legal. You're not supposed to do that.
No, not at all.
Yeah. And of course you got the total douchey guy that these movies always have,
good looking girls and douchey guys.
Yeah. I don't think they're not, I mean, they're here and we see them later on, but they're not
relevant, relevant.
They're not really relevant. So, but are we starting to, okay. So I'm going to assume we're back at the house.
Well, I think he notices his dad's kissing.
Yeah. He's kissing Sarah.
And
Sarah is the dad's, I guess, girlfriend. And
you could tell that. So Ben has been obviously living with his mom, and then summertime he's with his dad. And this looks like it could be like a fresh split up, breakup,
Could be.
divorce, maybe
seems like it.
Maybe separation.
Seems like it.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe they're not completely divorced yet. So, I'm thinking that Ben harbors some resentment towards his dad, and
Yep.
and mom's giving me, bringing up again, mom's getting a new car, so she's giving me her old car.
Yeah.
So, I have her old car. I have a license, Dad. I can obviously drive, so I can drive your truck. I don't have to ride this bike. I'm stuck here with you. You don't even have HDMI back of your TV.
Right. I know, right.
He's, possibly taking his mom's side more, and then sees Dad with Sarah.
And he gets pissed off, which is a normal reaction.
He's going to get rubbed the wrong way because, obviously if it's fresh, he probably wants to see Mom and Dad together. And it feels like maybe Mom was slighted in this whole split up thing.
Yeah. So now we know there's a scene with Abby and Dylan, and these are the next door neighbors. And I from what Dad says, this is, I get the impression it's kind of a tourist town where a lot of these homes are rented out to families maybe during the summer. And so,
right.
And so, I know Abby and Dylan are in the forest, right? On a hike or something.
So we're introduced to Abby and her husband, and Dylan.
I think the husband's name is Ty. Does that sound right?
Ty. I don't remember his name.
I think his name is Ty.
I just know Abby, and Dylan's the son.
Yeah,
and he's probably 8
to 10. Yeah, 8 or 9.
If I had to guess. And it looks like maybe Abby was raised in that area, and possibly went hunting with their dad. So she's a little tomboyish, kind of. Yeah, she has kind of like some tattoos and little. Yeah. Ripped shirt, doesn't wear makeup, and she's, wants to show her son kind of like that hunter, tracker, hiking kind of thing that her dad did with her. So takes Dylan on a hike in the woods, and they're going off, and they get kind of, I think she squats to pee.
Yes.
And they get kind of split up a little bit.
Yeah. I think Dylan kind of wanders off to maybe take some pictures. He's got a little Polaroid camera.
That's right. He has the Polaroid.
And then he wanders upon he hears voices, which he thinks is his mother.
Oh, and then it does sound like his mother.
It does. Yeah.
And he's like looking at this tree that has like a hole in the bottom of it, from across the forest area where he's at. And then he sees these big, long, white fingers coming out of the tree.
I always am a sucker for this effect. I love the long, the long, bony, evil fingers. I dig these.
Oh yeah,
I dig this. Any movie that wants to throw that in there, I'm all on board.
Like Insidious.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
I just love that idea. I don't need to see any other part of the body, just the hand coming out. And I love when they take their fingers and they almost do what's that little thing where
the little tap
where the fingers are. I love little stuff
kind
like
of reminds
that.
me of in a way Freddy, with
sure,
it's almost like he's taunting.
Yep.
It's taunting.
Mm-hmm.
It's creepy. It's and it's otherworldly.
Yeah, it's so simple to convey evil when all you do is see these kind of long, bony fingers.
It's not good.
It's not good, especially coming out of a bottom of a tree. And then Mom comes up and
comes up behind him.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the tree's gone.
The tree, not there. He looks back, the tree's gone. So the real Mom's behind him now. So because I've only seen this the one time, and you. I was wondering how this okay, so we know the wretch or this witch basically was I'm not going to say infatuated by Dylan. That's not the right word, but almost in a way like the creeper with Derry.
Derry, yeah, in Jeepers Creepers.
So caught a scent of him. Maybe was on a path of getting him. And
that's the same with the witch and Dylan,
right?
And so, when Ty comes home with the little baby, he sees this dead deer
on the truck,
and he's like, "Okay, what's this?" Well, I guess Mom hit the deer.
Yeah.
And
Decide.
And so we're gonna gut it, and it's got good meat, and
because she's remembering like when she was with her dad, you know, they went hunting and she happened to hit a deer with the car. So, you know, it's like I could do this. So she's watching a YouTube video on how to like gut it. Because there is a way of doing it. And I remember with my dad when we went hunting that you have to hang it upside down because you don't want the groin area, especially if it's a male deer. You don't want the bladder to bleed into the meat area that you're going to eat.
Oh, really?
So you want that shit to be first off you have to cut the bladder out and the wiener and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
And
shit.
and then you take
you went hunting with your dad?
Mm-hmm.
You never told me this. I never knew you went deer hunting with your dad.
I have a hunting rifle.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. I've known you nearly 30 years. I never knew that.
Yeah. I only went from age of 12 to about 16.
Really? I don't knowing you the way I know you.
Yeah.
I just don't see that of you.
Oh, it's weird. Yeah, I used to go shooting with my dad.
You're such a lover of animals. I never would know that you were shooting
and
trying to shoot deer.
The only reason why it went is because it was like a thing to do with my dad.
with your dad.
Yeah,
sure.
Because we were so different.
Yeah.
But you know, I never shot.
Okay.
No.
See,
so it was always my dad shooting a deer, and then you know he and I cleaning the deer. It was pretty gross.
Oh, man. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I ever went hunting. My dad and I never went hunting. We would do fishing, but
I would go shit fishing too. Yeah.
Yeah. More so with my grandfather and my uncle. I think they might have hunted. I never did hunt. I was more of a fisher. I liked fishing.
My dad was raised that way because he was raised up in the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
So all those old, you know, like the Great Smoky Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he was raised, they had a farm out in the top of this mountain, and in the trees in the woods. So man, these are honestly, man, going back there when I was a kid, those are some scary dark places. I especially think of Pumpkinhead. Remember, it's like going back up in that holler. There's hollers.
It was like that.
Yeah, and they talk like that too. It's like a holler is like a little community up in the mountains, and it's really, really dark when it gets
secluded.
Secluded.
So like it's almost like a community within a community within a community. Like it's just like some backwoods,
real backwoods.
Some Deliverance shit, man.
Deliverance. We're talking like hillbilly, no wearing shoes, have a ton of kids.
Oh my god!
Yeah, there's some families up there
just like you're explaining in Pumpkinhead. That's how it was. Yeah.
Shit, yes. When I saw
that
movie,
it
reminded me of going and visiting up in the area where my dad's family is from. Oh my god! And seeing some of the people that live up there.
Oh shit, dude!
And
that's kind of
rickety
scary.
cabin in the woods kind of houses. Oh, dude, it's spooky.
Oh my goodness! You never told me this story, dude.
Places that you don't want to be when you don't know anybody up there.
Oh yeah,
and especially when there's no moon out. It's dark as fuck. And
dude, that's creepy.
You would almost wish for a full moon. Because at least you have light out there when it's dark. I mean, because there's no street lights. There's nothing,
dude. It's literally a lantern, probably, right? Or a candle. Oh yeah. You know,
I mean, just even camping up, you know, near the basin of Lake Tahoe is dark enough. But just going up in spooky mountains, because those are our mountains. Our Sierra Nevadas are not spooky. No, the ones up on the fucking East Coast, dude. Those are some fucking scary mountains, dude. Those are some fucking wrong turn. You don't want to go. Deliverance motherfuckers that you will probably never end up seeing civilization again.
Dude, that's funny.
But the fact is this Abby is just trying to remember doing that kind of shit with her dad.
Yeah.
And she's trying to like show her son in YouTube form. It's like, and she's not getting it right, and the guts spill all over the ground.
Place.
And she's like, "Fuck it."
Yeah,
they go inside and they just leave the deer on the truck.
Yeah, and then later on that evening is when this witch or the wretch comes out of the deer.
Oh yeah.
It's basically it can go into I don't really, is it a host? I guess it's a host, right?
To hide.
Like, yeah, it can insert its body into the body of something else.
Right.
It can be human, it can be animal. In this case, it was the deer, and now it's almost attached itself to this family.
Well, we learned that it can't be in daylight because it needs to hide in a body in order to protect it from dying in the daylight.
Yeah,
because it's a hag of the darkness or something.
Hag, yeah. Which is funny because I think originally the title of the movie was supposed to be Hag. And
oh, was it?
Yeah, I read that, and people were like, "No, we don't like that. We don't like that name."
Yeah,
I actually don't mind that name, Hag.
I don't mind it either.
You know,
but the Wretched,
sounds really cool.
But it sounds like 50 other movies on Netflix and Shudder, and
it does. Yes, it does. I
mean, movie that we've been waiting for the last 2 years to come out is Antlers.
Yeah,
which this movie, it has antlers in the poster, so
it does. It's almost like you almost
think it's an alternate.
Confuse the two.
Yeah, it's like is it an alternate title for this movie?
Which is funny because I think Antlers was made in 2019,
mm-hmm.
and so when it finally eventually comes out, people go, "Well, you ripped off the Wretched." No, we didn't. It's just been on the shelf for a couple of years because of COVID.
And then finally comes out next month.
When are we? September, October, November?
Yeah,
I think
September
it does.
Now,
it comes out soon. I've been wanting to see it for a while. I hope it doesn't disappoint.
I hope not either.
It's definitely on our list. We'll probably do an episode on that.
Yeah.
But so, anyways, this wretch comes on out, and I think Ben is laying in bed, and he hears something on the roof.
Oh, but he's actually pulling. So Ben,
does he do the party before this? I can't remember when he bells on his dad.
No,
he was supposed to do dinner with
the party's the next day.
The next day, okay.
So Ben, this movie a little bit reminded me of Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf.
I never saw it, but I remember it.
Rear Window, as well as, of course, Fright Night.
Yeah.
So it's basically a kid living next door watching the events unfold through binoculars of their neighbors. And not that anything nefarious is going on with the neighbors at this point, but he's like, he's watching the neighbors basically have sex in there. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of Corey Haim's character of Tommy Jarvis when in part 4 of Friday the 13th, when he's watching the girl get naked.
Yeah.
It's just it's a voyeuristic trope that they stuck in this movie.
Yeah.
Rear Window goes back to Rear Window.
Yeah. Hitchcock, right?
Yeah, totally Hitchcock.
Yeah.
So he's watching his neighbors, but then he hears something outside, so then he goes downstairs to investigate, and then he goes outside. And it also kind of reminded me of Signs,
Oh, Signs.
Yeah. Because, Mel Gibson went outside to go check out, hearing noises outside the house, and heard something go on the roof, so he's like going, and then he's like flashing his flashlight, and of course wakes up what's the neighbor's
Ty. I think his name is Ty.
So Ty startles him. He's like, "What you doing around here?"
But doesn't he, before the sensor light comes on, he sees
oh, that's right. On the
on
the end of the porch of Ty's house, he sees the wretch like perched
for
up
like a second. So, but he's not quite sure. And then the light comes on, and then of course it's gone.
And it's totally perched like a freaking gargoyle.
It is.
And at that point,
this is one of my favorite scenes.
I thought because it had glowing eyes and it had horns. I didn't know it had I guess it was wearing a mask of like a skull, like
an animal skull, right? Yeah.
I thought it was just its head because it was so fast.
I did too. I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And then it's like split second, the light comes on, and then of course, the neighbor's like, "Hey,
what are you doing around here?"
Yeah. And he's like, I thought I saw something. I thought I saw an animal, and he did see a raccoon underneath the house. But Ben kind of kicks it off with Ty, not so good. So it's
So Ben's like, sorry, going back home.
Going back home. And then I think he I think the next day he talks to his dad. Hey, look, let's just do a dinner with Sarah. I know about her. Look, I saw you guys.
Right.
Let's do a dinner. I kind of the situation. Let me get to know her. But then he bells on that to go to because they were going to do dinner. Sarah is vegan.
So
she's vegan, right? Yeah, she's vegan. And hey, go to the market and get some, I don't know, vegan dinner rolls.
Oh, they were. He said ones with no gluten.
No gluten.
And like that little general store would have no gluten. It's
not going to have.
And he even walked in there. And he goes, "Hey, these wouldn't happen to have no gluten in them." And the guy's like, "What?"
Yeah,
he was like a hick. He was like
$3 or something like that. I don't remember what he said.
But then he sees Mallory there with some other kids.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Bail, come hang." He's like, "I can't." And then at the last minute, he's like looking at the dinner rolls, and he obviously knows they're not vegan. So he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go." He's like, "Hey, wait up."
Yeah.
And he gets in the back of the pickup truck and he goes to the party.
Dad's
blowing up his phone at this point. You would think so.
Well, yeah. I mean, and of course it's the typical party, right? Especially out in the middle of nowhere, fire, alcohol, truth or dare, whatever it is. I don't know.
They were near a pool at somebody's house with a pool.
Do you think it was kind of like out in the forest, but where there's a home and there's someone's house, right? And parents are gone.
It's Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, I think they're playing a drinking game, right? Oh, yeah. What's that drinking game? Have you never, or I've never, I don't know.
Never have I ever.
Yeah, never have I ever. And then of course he drinks, he gets drunk, him and Mallory share a moment. And then he explains to her, "Hey, I got my broken arm because I was climbing in my neighbor's house to steal Vicodin."
Yeah.
Was it Vicodin?
Vicodin.
And they came home. I jumped out of the window
and it broke his arm that way. And that kind of almost seemed like again, he's maybe doing shit that he doesn't normally do. Maybe he's acting out because of his parents.
Yeah, he's definitely
split up.
Yeah, and that's hard, man. Any divorce is hard on the kids. And so yeah, you're acting out. He did because he seems like he seems like he's a good kid.
Yeah.
And yeah, this was just not a good moment for him. And so yeah, he's sent to go stay with his dad, and then I think he ends up getting drunk.
And then he
throw up.
Yeah, he leans in for a kiss, but then he throws up
on
the side of her, and then the next scene, it almost seemed like it was edited kind of weird. The next scene, we see him hanging with
I don't forget her name.
Yeah,
but
some girl,
some chick that he thought was attractive.
That was part of the douchebag crew.
Yeah, the douchebag crew,
and she's like wearing a bikini that's going straight up the butt, and
very pro. Yeah,
and if I had to say, I mean, of course, Mallory's cute, but I mean, this girl's more showing off her body more, maybe a little different. So he's like, okay, well,
and he's drunk. And so he's interested, and she gets into the pool,
and she's like, "Let's skinny dip." And he's like, "Nah, I don't skinny dip." And then she,
because he has the cast, I don't want to get it wet. Yeah,
he's trying to keep his arm up, and then she gets close to him, and then she pulls his drawers off.
Yes,
and then he
closes his eyes, I think he's doing some Marco Polo thing, and then the rest of the crew.
I think he's hoping that she's going to take hers off.
Yeah,
but it doesn't happen.
This was just a prank. They pranked him. They took his drawers, and then Mallory rolls on up to see this, and you asshole! Yeah. I thought we shared a moment, and it didn't take you long to.
Yeah,
and so
he's naked, wet, and has no clothes. So he's trying to figure that out, and then he gets home.
Yeah, and of course, Dad's pissed off, and
of course he's pissed off.
And he's still kind of drunk, right? And he sees he's by this time. Okay, so we know around this time is when Dylan is having.
Hold on a second.
Yeah,
remember, Sarah was there still. Sarah was still there when he showed up.
No, yes, definitely. But
then he said something to the effect of, does it really matter that I, miss this, some girl that you're banging?
Yeah.
And then.
But see, before that, though, he sees the next door neighbor, Abby, going into the forest. But see, we have to go backwards a little bit because remember, Abby goes into the baby room.
Yeah.
And the baby's gone.
Oh,
it's just been replaced with like basically, twigs and branches.
But before that, on her baby monitor, if she were watching, which she wasn't, but
yeah.
us, the audience, were watching, there was a dark figure with the fingers, around the baby crib.
Yeah. So the baby gets taken. Abby goes in there to check on the baby. There is no baby, and then she gets grabbed and
pulled underneath the crib.
Yeah, basically, she's now been taken over by this witch. The wretch or the witch has taken over her body.
Yeah, she uses her skin.
But then we see her go when Ben comes home.
Oh yeah, he sees her
walking into the forest, which
with the baby
was weird. Yeah,
cradling the baby.
Yeah,
and just walking out there with no flashlight.
Yeah. So I mean, does Ben, he goes to bed or whatever. He says this thing about Sarah. Sarah leaves. And
you know what's funny? I'm going to interject real quick. And sorry about this. But you know what's funny is when I first saw that scene of the mom walking off with the baby into the forest, it totally reminded me of Goodnight Mommy. When the mom was walking off with her sons hand in hand into that long field and then going into the dark forest.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny how there's always like a field and then it's woods.
In Goodnight Mommy, did she walk with them out into the woods, or was it her by herself?
It was.
I thought it was her by herself.
It was.
I only saw it the one time though.
It was, spoiler alert for Goodnight Mommy.
No, spoiler.
Right.
Yeah. They can just listen to our episode because we have an episode on Goodnight Mommy. That's right. I think you're right. It's starting to come back to me.
Yeah.
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 Well, anyway, so I don't know. I'm sure.
Yeah, Ben was saw that, but he came in, and then that's when he had the altercation with his dad.
Yeah, and then I think the next day he kind of felt like an asshole. I think he worked. Mallory was kind of ignoring him, which she should because he was an asshole. And then the day was done, but Dad still had to work, and he asked Sarah, "Hey, Sarah, will you give me a ride?" And then of course there's a kind of like a making up. Hey, look, let's pretend it didn't happen. And then
he apologizes.
And then
and she seems pretty gracious because even that night when he said that shit about, it's just some chick you're banging, she's like, well, I really like your dad. And
so I'm willing to forgive this. You get one chance.
You get one chance. Yeah. And which I thought was pretty gracious, on her part.
It was. And then of course, Mallory comes in to leave for the day, and she goes in her backpack, and there's a bunch of Starbursts, which was kind of a scene earlier on when she offered him a Starburst.
Yeah, she said
it was kind of his way of apologizing,
and it was her favorite Starburst.
Starburst, yeah, which was strawberry and cherry, I think. But he gets home though, and then I think he starts to notice some weird stuff. This is where he's, I think, peeking on the neighbors with the binoculars. Now, at what point does Dylan come into the house?
Oh, so
does he get home and Dylan's in the house?
So
the next door neighbor's kid.
So I guess we'll roll back a little bit where Dylan, the mom wakes up the next morning. The dad has to go to work.
No, I don't think he's going. I think he's just going on like a trip, like a hunting trip or a fishing trip.
Which is weird, but it's like, who is he with? It's
I don't know.
It almost seemed like it was just the three of them.
To me, I almost feel like if it's a vacation for them, maybe he paid for a trip and he was going with just whoever, like a
very possible
a guide or something, and no one else was into it. It was just him. Yeah.
So he goes, he's like, ooh, someone needs a shower, and he doesn't really pay attention. Or the chick's covered in frickin' like dirt
and bruises, almost like it's like, really, you don't notice it?
Yeah, I would notice my wife if she looked like that.
Yes.
And obviously she took the baby into the forest, and the baby's not around, and he doesn't even notice
that his
baby's gone. Which leads us to our thing about the forgotten. It's like, did she already do the forgotten about the baby? Yeah. Or did she do or did he just not check on the baby? to notice that the baby wasn't there.
Yeah, and we'll get to the forgotten because again, this was confusing for me, and we'll get to it, and we can kind of fish it out,
because he knows Dylan, his son, is still there, because and he leaves and Dylan's home with his mom.
Yeah.
So
he's eating a bowl of cereal, watching cartoons, but then
she goes take a shower.
She goes to shower to get cleaned up, and then Dylan notices one of the rabbits is missing. He comes upstairs, and Mom is basically naked, standing in front of a window naked with the back turned to her. And of course, then we get the
cliche.
This whole contortion, body moving, clicking. I just,
everybody does it. The movie Mama did it. Annabelle Creation.
It's been done to death.
And Lights Out.
Yeah.
It's
this trope it's a newer trope that I'm tired of. I just don't want to see it
it's
anymore.
It's like the evil thing or the possessed person is, they're basically like snapping and clicking
and moving in a way that normal people don't move in.
Right. It's supposed to be unsettling.
Yeah.
And maybe it was unsettling in the first few movies that we watched, but now we're over it.
Yeah, it was a cool effect. Now it's just a stylized effect that I don't care to see anymore. I even argue you've seen it in The Ring or The Grudge or Ringu or whatever, any of them. And
totally.
And hell, I would almost say that's where most of them probably took it from.
Probably.
And then it just became a thing, and I'm tired of that thing. I don't want to see it anymore.
It doesn't make sense other than the person being possessed is now like and in this movie, remember we were talking about we can almost give it a pass because maybe she was like getting settled into the skin.
Yes, you did mention that, and I could jump on board with that.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Because she's like
because you are basically this witch or this wretch is basically it inserts itself into the skin of the host. So I get it. So like if you're putting a pair of pants on or a pair of whatever on and you're trying to get comfortable in it, you're moving around.
Yeah.
So I could almost give it a pass almost.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of it. I just don't want to see it.
It's a trope that we're done.
I'm done with that trope, man. And so Dylan knows Mom isn't right.
Yeah.
And then when Ben comes home from Sarah dropping him off and Dylan's in his room, he's like, look, my mom's not right.
So he runs over to Ben's house.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, my mom's not right. Help me, save me. Can I stay here with you until my dad gets home?
Yeah, because he's already in Ben's room when Ben comes home because Ben grabs a
oh, that's right.
Yeah, because he was hears the noise and he grabs I think it was like a golf club. It was a driver. And
he's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, and so then when the doorbell rings or I don't know, Mom knocks on the door. Yeah, so Ben.
So she looks different. Remember,
she looks different. She looks more girly.
She's wearing a dress,
yeah,
and she's wearing heels.
Yep,
she's wearing makeup.
Not how she looked at the beginning of the movie because it was Abby. Now it's not Abby. It's the witch has taken over her body.
The wretch.
And so Dylan's like, don't open it up.
Yeah,
and
I don't want to go with her.
So now, okay, so this is where we start. Now we know. Just a spoiler, we know there's a surprise ending. There's a damn M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end. But this is where you start seeing these little things where he says something to her.
Well, actually, before he even says anything to her, the screen door. Right? Yeah, the door's already open. The screen door's there, and she's talking through the screen door.
But see, I thought, okay, so
she's like, say, hey, or what did she say? Are you guys?
I forget what she said,
but it looked like she was talking to somebody on the stairs before he got to the first flight.
Okay, so I chalked it up to when he got home, Ben, he just didn't close the door because he heard the noise. I don't think that was the case at all because the door was wide open. And then when Ben says it's just us, well, he wouldn't say it's us because he would give away the fact that Dylan is there. And we know the dad's not there.
And so she would know the dad's not there because the dad's truck's not there.
Yeah. So we start catching these little things that down the road, it's going to make more sense.
Exactly.
Because you caught, I think it was later on in the movie, you caught a scene where there was a setting of four.
Oh, when the girlfriend made the
when Sarah made the dinner.
They made the dinner.
You caught it.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it because
there was an empty plate where Ben was supposed to be, and there was 3 plates where it looked like they've been eaten, and it's like, okay, well, it's the dad and Sarah. Who was the third person? Yeah, that ate something. And
I didn't catch this, and I was telling you this earlier. I didn't catch it because I was more focused on the dinnerware because growing up living with my grandparents, my grandparents had the same plates that they were using in the movie, and I was more focused on that because it had me reminiscing.
Yeah, it was like a translucent white with the little gold lame that goes around,
and I think they were pretty common for the time frame. So. And my grandparents, I think we still have them in the family somewhere.
The funny thing is, my aunt had the same set.
Same ones, right? Mm-hmm. Very popular. Yeah. Like I've seen them in other movies, you know. And so we're starting to see we're getting little pieces of this surprise ending down the road. Oh yeah. And so I'm trying to think here. Where are we at? Dylan. So dad comes home.
So Ty,
next door neighbor's dad comes home, and Dylan feels more comfortable.
So he runs out the door. Yeah. And hey, Dad,
Yeah.
Which I was hoping that why are you revealing yourself? After Ben said that you weren't there.
I know. And now you really kind of made Ben look like
a liar.
Yeah, a liar. And now this witch
is after him.
Yeah, is after him. And so
and then we notice that of course she's got her eye on them now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the turning point where Ben kind of screwed it for himself, or I guess Dylan screwed it for Ben.
Yeah,
because now she's like looking back, and she did threaten him. She's like,
what did she say?
If you don't let me in, I'll snap that other arm of yours.
That's right. Yeah, she did threaten him. But then Dylan tells his dad, "Hey, I think Mom's something's wrong with Mom," but he just dismisses it.
Yeah,
dude, it's just your mom. You should have saw her at Burning Man, and
I think Dylan should have really been more on his dad about being,
yes,
but he wasn't.
No,
he just
not
like,
at all.
Oh, Dad's not listening to me, so forget it.
Yeah, well, it's the typical, but I mean, this is kind of typical for these types of movies, right? You say something, but they dismiss it, and there's never that forcefulness of, dude, this is happening. Some weird shit is happening. It's just a little bit enough to move on with the story. Right. And then I think this is where you get the scene with Abby and Ty, the mom and the dad in the bedroom. And there's the sex scene. And of course, she's got all that weirdness on her back. It's like, I don't know what sores and, and so, but this is, I think, where, what happens to, I don't know. Does Dylan disappear at this point?
Yeah.
Because then,
so next morning, Ben goes to work and he's like, hey, did Dylan show up for his boating lesson?
That's right. And to Mallory.
Mallory's like, I don't know. And she goes, I don't think I've seen him.
That was canceled or just, he was a no-show or something.
Yeah, he was a no-show.
So then Ben goes to the house, knocks on the door, and Ty answers, and he's like, hey, where's your son Dylan? Well, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he's like,
I don't have any kids.
So no baby.
Yeah, no baby, no Dylan. And we're like, okay, I just see at the time, I just chalked it up as to, it was just some sort of spell that the witch put on Ty.
Which it was.
It is, but see, not until later on. And then really, honestly, dude, until you and I talked about it, I was trying to understand the whole,
and I think we can spoil it now.
Well, we can. We can.
Which the thing is what the witch does and how the spell works is she takes a family picture, and she crosses the eyes out on the person that's supposed to forget.
Yeah.
So the other person in that photograph will be the forgotten. So the person that doesn't have scratches on their eyes is the forgotten.
I swore. So, okay, but and I could be way wrong. I swore though, when we see the picture later on of Mallory and her family, her sister, what was her sister's name? Lily or Leslie or Lily?
Lily.
It was. So I swore her eyes her eyes were crossed out.
No,
but
the Lily's?
yes.
No, it
wasn't
Mallory and her mom.
Okay, it was Mallory and her mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
which is their way of forgetting that she even exists, because I know there's a scene where Ben goes, "Hey, your sister." Well, what are you talking about?
I don't have a sister.
I don't have a sister.
Yeah.
So, I needed, I mean, hell, you and I watched a couple YouTube videos, because watching it just one time, I didn't catch these little things.
I actually saw it a second time that last weekend. So
this almost warrants multiple viewings to kind of get. And this is my problem with it. It doesn't mean I didn't like the movie. My problem is I shouldn't have to watch explanations or have to watch a movie several times to understand what's happening. And I felt like it to me, I felt like it wasn't conveyed properly.
But the cool thing about some movies is maybe sometimes, and I'm trying to think of a good example. Some movies do warrant better, like more viewing experiences in order to take everything in. And maybe that's what the director was going for, but you're saying that you didn't really want that in this movie.
Well, okay. So I'm okay watching a movie multiple times to catch little things.
Right.
Hell, I'll see a movie 50 times and I'll still catch stuff that I still haven't. That's okay. For instance, The Dark and the Wicked. There were things that I may not have caught the first time, but everything was explained, I believe, properly, where I understood everything.
Well, let's think about this.
Okay.
Hereditary.
Yes, but again, I would almost argue on the same lines of The Dark and the Wicked.
Yeah.
Yes, that requires multiple viewings
to understand certain things.
But I understood enough of it to know
to enjoy the film.
Yes, it didn't mean I didn't enjoy it. I just felt there was a lot of stuff I didn't understand. I was confused. And I think I'm pretty good at
picking things up.
Yes, watching a movie and understanding everything that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And before we did the episode, I had to watch a few, because I just watched it this morning for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to watch a few videos and kind of read up on some stuff to try to understand. I shouldn't have to do that. I should know exactly what's happening. I don't know, man. Again, I guess it makes sense, the crossing out of the eyes or crossing out of the person.
Right.
But it was a little, like I said, it was a little confusing for me. Like, okay, what's happening? So you cross out the people who are going to forget about the person that basically the witch is going to consume, right?
You cross out the eyes of the person that has the spell cast on them.
Yes. So it's a spell. And so the witch casts a spell on it. So you have a photograph. You cast a spell on the photograph. You cross out the eyes or the face of the person that is going to forget about this other person. Mm-hmm. Then the witch will take this other person and basically consume the person, right?
Mm-hmm.
They take them to this tree. She puts them inside the hole, and they are, I don't know, asleep. Almost kind of like a spell has been cast on them.
It's almost
until
like
she decides to feed on them.
Yeah. It's almost like she's sticking them in the fridge.
Yes, there you go.
Until she's hungry.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect analogy. Yeah. And so, but see, as the movie plays out, you and I were talking about this, like all of a sudden now Mallory remembers she has a sister. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, so does the spell became broken because later on in the movie, the photograph gets burnt?
Right.
So then that breaks the spell.
That breaks the spell.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But that wasn't really watching it a second time. You catch it.
You catch it more.
But yeah, the first time I didn't catch that. I just assumed that, maybe I did catch it the first time because the pictures were burning. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves.
No, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's all relevant to what's happening.
Right.
And, trying to talk some of this out, like I don't know. I needed to watch a video, which kind of sucked, to explain some of this stuff. And then you of course explain it as well, but you would also watch these videos at a time. But I mean, let's see, I guess we could go back a little bit. I'm trying to think. We know the next door neighbor dad eventually gets a spell cast on him by the witch because he's starting to go ahead.
Well, so at this point, Ben is explaining to Mallory about what the weirdness of the next door neighbors.
Yeah. She doesn't really, I don't feel like she believes it.
No, she doesn't believe it. And she even writes a little note and taunts the neighbor by leaving it on their door.
What does she say? I poked the bear or something?
Yeah.
And it draws a little witch.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. And then, obviously what was it? Was Ty the one that answered the door? Or was it Abby?
I thought, I don't remember.
But anyway, and then of course we get that scene where Ben's looking through his, his binoculars, and then he goes up to the little porch area of their house, and then
Abby's
staring at him.
Yeah,
and it's a total like rear window moment.
Yeah. And he but he starts to he has seen the symbol on the front door of the porch. And so he decides to do a Google search of this. And he, of course, it's convenient that he finds that it's
convenient for the narrative.
Yeah, it is.
And he went on Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia. Yeah. And he finds out it's a witch, and it's and read up on the witch, and it's
for a lot of information about this witch, you would think that more people would know about it,
Yeah, you would think, especially in that town,
in that area.
Yeah. So he does that, and I think the witch, doesn't the witch follow or go to the marina where Mallory is closing up? I think we see a scene of that.
And she takes a picture off the board.
That's where she gets the picture, to cast that spell.
Right. But then we notice that, after that scene, and, the Ty's looking at the picture of the, poking the bear or whatever.
Yeah. Something about yourself. We know what's in the.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. The note didn't say we're poking the bear. The note said we know it's in your cellar.
Oh,
Mallory had texted Ben, hey, I poked the bear.
That's right.
And so then Ty wants to go into the cellar, and that's when Abby casts a spell on him.
And makes his ears bleed.
And now he's basically a zombie, right?
He's like a zombie.
Kind of like a zombie, yeah.
Not like a Living Dead zombie, but, like a Serpent in the Rainbow zombie.
Correct.
Yeah.
God, Serpent in the Rainbow. Shit, I haven't seen that movie forever.
Such a good movie.
Is it? Do you remember? That's Wes Craven.
Yeah.
I don't remember liking it, dude. I remember wanting to like Serpent in the Rainbow. Like, I remember when the trailer came out, I'm like, damn, this looks really good. I went to the theater to see it, and I was disappointed.
I first saw it when it was first released on VHS with my ex, and I remember not liking it. And I remember it took sequent viewings of seeing it.
Really?
Yeah.
So I should give it another shit.
Yeah, you might.
Maybe I need to revisit. Like our previous episode on Deathgasm, we were talking about Trick or Treat, and I watched it the one time. I hated it, but you've grown to really like it, or you really liked it from the beginning.
Yeah.
I need to revisit that, and maybe I need to revisit Serpent in the Rainbow, because I did not. Like, I'll be honest, dude. Like, I respect Wes Craven's kind of place in the horror scene, or the horror,
right.
But as you know, John Carpenter is my favorite horror director, and James Wan is close second, and he's, and I'm waiting to see Malignant to see what that's going to be about.
Yeah.
But Wes Craven, I felt like a lot of his movies weren't as good as people. Like People Under the Stairs. What is that? First of all, how is that even horror?
There's a lot of people that love that movie.
That's what they do. I don't understand it, because I thought it was crap.
I saw it in the theater, and I didn't find it scary.
No, dude, I thought, and it was on recently, and I was watching it. I'm like, this is terrible. Like, it's a shitty movie. And I think you and I had mentioned Shocker, because I believe that's Wes Craven as well.
Oh, yeah, it is. Deadly Friend.
Deadly Friend is not good. Like, it's not good. It is really a bad movie. Like, it literally has one good scene, and that's when the next door neighbor's head gets exploded by the basketball. That is it for me, dude. It's shit.
Yeah, I'll be honest about Shocker. It's like I love the music from Shocker, and I love the concept.
Yes, the concept is great.
And I love Mitch Pileggi, the guy that played, Horace Pinker, the killer.
Yes.
I like him, but I think they just went way too comical.
It started out good. Like I remember, I've only seen it once or twice, and I remember watching like the first 30 minutes. I'm like, this is really good. And then it just tailed off the last hour or so. It was not good.
Well,
for me.
I think after Wes was done with Nightmare 3, writing the script for that one, I think he was trying to create for the what company was it? Whatever company that put out Shocker, maybe it was Warner Brothers. But I think he was trying to create for them a Freddy Krueger.
Oh,
I'm honestly, I think they wanted to do like a series of movies with Horace Pinker as the killer. And we're obviously he dies in each one, but since he's like. He's energy, so he can come back.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
But it didn't work.
It just didn't. Yeah, it didn't work for me. I really wanted to like it. I mean, no disrespect to Wes Craven. Like I said, I think he was, he's very crucial in the horror genre. Like Scream was a cool franchise. More so the first one than the rest of them. And the other ones were okay, but I felt like you were good with the first one. I didn't need anything else after that. But I mean, we could argue that for most franchises, right?
I think Wes's biggest stinker of all his fucking movies was My Soul to Take. And that was probably one of his last movies before he passed.
I saw that one time. I think I saw it with you.
Right.
And
dude, it was so bad. It was almost like they wanted to create another Nightmare movie. And because this guy was coming after the kids.
Well, hell, we could argue, what was that last John Carpenter movie? What was the one?
Oh, Ghost of Mars.
No. After that, he did one. What was the other?
The Ward?
The Ward.
Oh, I like that one.
Did you? Dude, that was forgettable. Look, Ghost of Mars was shit.
Right.
Okay. But The Ward was forgettable for me.
Well, The Ward for me reminded me of the movie Identity. And I'm probably giving away spoilers by saying that for people that haven't seen The Ward and has seen
I
Identity.
gotta rewatch The Ward because I love John Carpenter, but watching it the first time, it was forgettable for me. Maybe I need to rewatch it.
I think The Ward came out around the same time as Sucker Punch, and it's similar. Just somebody going in their head, and it's Dude, the music from The Ward was fucking brilliant, and it wasn't John Carpenter.
It wasn't John Carpenter.
No, but
music,
it was. Yeah. Oh my god, it was great music.
Maybe I gotta rewatch that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, shit, I don't even know what got us to that.
Oh, just the fact that where were we?
I don't even remember that we were, dude. That sucks. Sucks getting old.
Where Ty gets taken over, and Ben's trying to convince his dad of what's going on.
Yeah, his dad's not having that.
No, he's like, you're trespassing again, because he's probably thinking of when
he broke into the neighbors.
Into the neighbors with his mom. Like when he lived with his mom.
Yeah. But I mean, you think about it. I mean, if you were his dad, you probably wouldn't believe him either. I mean, you're not having a great track record recently, son.
Oh, no. Especially with him, coming in drunk and missing all the calls. And he's just, I'd probably be where the dad's at too.
But so I'm trying to think if we missed anything. Like, did we miss anything really relevant with the interaction between, because we know Dylan's gone, all these things are happening. We know the witches basically cast a spell on Mallory's sister. Oh. And this is where now, at what point does, because Dylan goes into the cellar and he sees the pictures, and then he,
you said Dylan.
I said Dylan. Oh. I'm sorry, Ben. Ben, because Dylan's gone.
Yeah.
And Ben sees the picture, and then he hops on the bike and calls up Mallory, and he mentions her sister's name, and she's like, "Who is that? What are you talking about?"
It's like your sister. She's like, "I don't have a sister."
And so he goes to the kind of where the marina is, and he's looking around, and then he sees Abby walking with the sister out into the forest.
Right.
But he also gets his ass whooped by the douchebag we saw earlier.
The douchebags.
And but he gets his ass whooped real quick. Sarah intervenes, and then he runs out into the forest. where basically he sees the tree, and this is where the sister is being pulled down. He tries to grab her, and he loses her.
Yeah.
And then he falls back, hits his head, gets knocked out
until dark.
So let me ask you this: if the tree is there, why didn't the witch just take? He gets knocked out, right? Why didn't the witch just pull him into the tree? Maybe because he's essentially a thorn in her side. So why not just pull him into the tree?
But the thing is, she could have. But does it seem like? I mean, I don't know if there's a lore for this particular witch. I don't know if it's based on some. Of course, it's based on something real. But maybe in this narrative of this world, this universe of the Wretched, she just likes younger children.
Maybe.
Yeah, because she could have fed off of him.
Because if you think about it, when he was reading the internet stuff on the witch, it said mother, like when, you're still a mother when you have a teenager, but you're more of they're more self-sufficient when they're older.
Right.
When they're younger age, they need more help, and so more nurturing and more mothering. Do you think that maybe that was? I don't know.
Well, it's this lore almost seems like it's made up of a lot of different things, because there's a William Friedkin movie called The Guardian where it was like a tree witch.
I don't think I ever saw The Guardian.
She's basically feeds off of babies.
Okay.
And then there's of course there's Mama.
Yeah.
And there's Blair Witch,
Yeah. True.
Lot of in the woods.
So none of this is really original. Like it's not like we were talking about earlier. Like Blair Witch wasn't original. It took a story, an established story that maybe a lot of people didn't know of, and just did put a new spin on it. But it wasn't like it was some original thing. It's just
Blair Witch is actually the Blair Witch, being that it's in Maryland. Is based on, from what I read, on the Bell Witch, which is in Tennessee.
There you go.
And the Bell Witch is
all of these things. All these derive from something.
And the Bell Witch fed on children.
There you go.
Think of like Hansel and Gretel feeds on children.
Yeah.
There's a lot of old lore where a witch will feed on. Well, look at the movie The Witch. Remember, it fed on the baby.
Yeah, I'd like to forget about that movie. What a hunk of shit that was. I'm sorry. I know you and I have talked about this over and over again. I know there's some people that really like this movie. I just didn't get it, and I didn't like it.
I respect it more now. I think I hated it when we saw it, but then
I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it so much. Like, I won't even revisit the movie. I hated it so much. I didn't like it. I didn't get it. I felt, in a sense, duped. I didn't like the movie, and I know there are a lot of people out there that liked it, and okay, that's cool. That's your opinion. I hated it. I won't rewatch it. I won't own it. I won't talk about, other than us talking about it now. I won't watch it. Watch it again and do an episode on it. I won't give it that time. But anyways, let me get off my soapbox now. But anyways, so where are we at?
So he wakes up. It's dark. He goes home. And
that's right.
And then
that's right, because then the cops are there, right?
Yeah,
the cops are there.
The cops are there, and because he's been missing, so I mean, Dad probably called the cops to and then
because he had broken into the neighbor's house, and the neighbor, we're not going to press charges, but and then
Sarah's there with the cops, and Dad. He's like,
and this was a funny part. Okay, so Dad goes, I thought I told you to stay in your room.
Right.
Now this comes into play in a little bit, because we get this surprise ending here, but and then Sarah says something about, well, we'll give you guys privacy. And I'm like, okay.
Give you guys
privacy. And I'm like, okay. And then Dad's not having any of it. And
so there's a moment with Ben and Sarah in the kitchen.
Yes.
So the cops were just going to leave, or Dad's talking to the cops in the other room.
Yes,
at this point,
I think so. Yeah, because you overhear you hear the cops say the neighbors aren't going to press charges,
right?
So they're just going to bounce.
Yeah,
and then I think Sarah is talking to Ben, trying to have look, your dad loves you, and he wants what's best for you, blah blah blah, and and then she's pouring milk into her coffee,
and then he remembers that she was lactose intolerant. Yeah, she's a vegan. And then she notices that the flowers on the windowsill are wilting.
Wilting, yeah.
And he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And then it turns kind of dark, right? When we get this kind of evil scene, you know.
And which kind of reminded me of a Raimi scene, Sam Raimi, you know, where things change real quick for the narrative. It's just, you know, she's like, wow, she lashes it and her face gets kind of dark and veiny and there's a lot of shadow.
Yeah.
And then she charges at him and then he picks up a butcher knife and to defend himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And slices her arm. And of course, you know, it's no longer dark in the kitchen. It goes back to full light.
Yeah. And this is where Dad comes in.
Dad comes in, sees that he has a knife.
It just doesn't look good for Ben. It's like, dude, really?
Yeah.
You just attacked my girlfriend and oh man, you know.
So next scene, we see Ben in the back of the cop car, but then Sarah's talking in the ear of the cop.
Yeah, yeah. She kind of does it with the yeah.
And then you
cast a spell on.
We know what's going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So and so he leaves but he tells his dad, look, just go check the cellar. And dude, and I know Sarah's trying to keep the dad there.
Yeah.
By coming on to him, and Dad's like, no, I got to get to the whatever, the precinct or whatever.
Yeah, I got to go precinct. Yeah. Because he was going to meet his son at the precinct.
And then, you know, Dad starts up the car and he goes, oh, let me go check the cellar. And I really didn't think Dad was going to check the cellar.
Right. But then we flash back to Ben being in the back of the car and Ben's like, where are you taking me? You're not going to the precinct.
Yeah.
This is you're going, you know, there's like nobody around.
There's no one around. And takes him out to the cop takes him out to the water to drown him.
Yeah. And he's
handcuffed. Ben is handcuffed.
So we're cut back to the scene that we see in the beginning of the movie where Ben was being held underneath the water. Yeah. And that's where that 5 days later comes into play. Or 5 days earlier. Comes into play. But yeah, Ben's being held underneath the water. We're thinking, oh shit, he's gonna fucking die. And then I thought to myself, well, maybe his dad's gonna save him.
You know what I thought was gonna happen here? I almost thought the guy that owns the little store and has his dog,
right?
And he always seems to be on the dock fishing. I thought maybe it was close to the dock or something, and he was gonna do something.
You know, it's funny because we never really interacted with that guy.
No, at all. Yeah.
And he almost seemed like Grandpa from Lost Boys. Where, right?
Yeah.
Where he's just kind of like just watching shit unfold. He knows about the witch, but he keeps his distance.
Yeah.
You know?
That's actually pretty good. Yeah.
But, his dog actually attacks the cop.
Yeah. Yeah. The dog And the cop shoots. Yeah. The cop shoots the dog. Okay, dude. So I don't know. This was kind of like, why did the cop not shoot Ben here? Because if a spell is cast on him,
unless he was struggling, maybe his inner, like we were talking about last week with Zach and Deathgasm, he was struggling with being possessed by the demon. And he was coming in and out of it.
True.
Maybe the cop was coming in and out of it.
Maybe just the spell was weak, and he was fighting it, and then he ends up killing himself.
Right.
Oh. But if he's fighting this, why would your reaction be to kill yourself? I don't know.
Maybe the end result of the spell. Remember, Ty hung himself.
True.
Oh shit, we didn't get to that point.
That's
yet.
okay.
Yeah,
no, that's okay, man. Because I mean, we're just about there though, because as the dad goes to visit
So now, the dog saved Ben, so Ben wasn't drowning anymore, and now we cut back to Dad checking out the
cellar, which there's nothing in the cellar, but he sees Ty walking into this other, looks like maybe a detached garage or something. I don't know what this was.
Was it back in the house?
Was it the house? I almost think it was like something detached. It was something detached because he walked. Looked like he walked from the house into this thing, and so he follows them up there.
And then he's like going upstairs,
almost like upstairs,
almost like an attic.
Yeah, almost like an attic. And then he sees what looks to be like a body.
It's Abby's body.
Yep.
And it looks like it's ripped open from the middle.
And then he sees Ty has hung himself, and then he does a little more exploring and sees this kind of what is this? This is a
It's like an altar.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was looking for the right word. An
Yeah.
altar with with his head and all these different things,
Yeah.
twig, all earthy stuff, and then pictures of the.
Yeah, it has the antler skull there with all the pictures with the crossed out eyes. And
Yep.
So it's
and then Sarah comes behind him and stabs him.
Oh, she has a skull mask on, like an antler.
She has the skull mask on, stabs him
in the back. He like falls. He's trying to get away from her,
and that's when the lantern is it the lantern?
Yeah,
lantern falls and it catches everything on fire
because it's one of those kerosene lanterns.
Yeah. But he makes his way out, right?
Yeah, he makes his way downstairs. He's going back out, trying to get back out that door.
Yeah.
To the outside, and he's like fighting with her, and then he could see that the witch is actually coming out of Sarah and grabbing his face with the long fingernails.
Yeah.
And then at that point, Ben comes back, right?
Yeah, he does. He does and shoots Sarah.
Shoots Sarah.
But then with the wretch bursts out of the body.
Bursts out.
And I love these practical effects. I like this.
Totally bursts out of Sarah's body. So that's abandoned now. So Sarah's dead.
Sarah's dead.
Yeah. And Dad and Ben make it to the truck.
I think they do make it to the truck.
Or cop car. Oh, cop car.
It's either the cop car or the truck. I can't remember.
And then they do. When do they meet Mallory?
Shit, I don't remember.
But they're basically trying to get back to the tree.
Yeah. How the hell did that happen? Because we see the dad later on in the truck.
Yeah.
But how the hell did he get over to the tree?
Unless now I'm lost.
I know, and I just freaking watched this morning. Unless he hopped out of the car.
The only thing I guess we can fast forward to the fact that they found Mallory. They're trying to go get Lily because they're on the quest to burn down the tree. Yeah. And they were gonna go get Lily.
But when is this surprise? I'm trying to remember in the sense of when is this surprise ending where, because doesn't he come across a picture that has, there's four of them. That's where his brother Nathan comes.
So when that barn's burning down, when the kerosene thing, it's burning all those pictures.
Yes, and then we see
which would take away the spell of each one of those pictures.
That's right. Because then we see the picture of the family. That the whole time we only saw three of them. Well, there was actually four of them. He has a little brother Nathan, and we're like, what the fuck? We never see this kid at all.
And then they're flashbacking,
and all these flashbacks were in total M. Night, where like in The Sixth Sense, where you're seeing all these things. It's like on the bus, he was the one that was drawing on his cast. The fourth setting for dinner was for the boy, for his brother.
Yeah, the Connect Four.
I mean, hell, you could the Connect Four. Hell, even the one scene where the mom goes, "How are my boys doing?"
Yeah.
See, I thought she was referring to the dad and Ben because maybe there's a chance they get back together, but no, it was Ben and his brother Nathan.
Right.
And the witch has Nathan inside the tree.
Yeah. So she,
but again, now, look,
so as Sarah, she probably grabbed Nathan.
So at what point though? We don't need to we don't have to dive way into this thing.
So there's a plot hole, and we don't, I don't want to dive too deep into it, but there's a plot hole where for the narrative of the story, we were never introduced to Nathan.
At what point would the spell have taken place?
It would have taken place probably the day before.
The day before what?
The day before we're at right now in the story. So it probably took place at.
So Nathan was there the whole time. We just never.
But as an audience, we never saw him.
We never saw him.
But he was actually.
But he's there.
But Dad and Ben were interacting with him because.
Okay.
So he was there even.
So the spell was after.
You're right.
And then
because I don't want to dive too deep into it. But for the M. Night Shyamalan type of twist ending reveal, Nathan was there the entire time. Ben and the dad probably forgot about him. Probably when Sarah moved all the stuff from that cellar up to that area.
Okay.
And because that's about the same time that Mallory forgot about Lily.
Okay. All right.
So that's
you liked that surprise ending. I did not.
I like the surprise ending, but yeah, it's a huge plot hole. But for the sense of the viewer, the sense of the audience, they had to keep that a secret, I guess.
Okay.
So
no, I get it. I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I didn't like it.
Right.
I didn't. But whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It makes sense in the whole scope of the spells that are cast. And when you cast the spell, you forget about the people.
Right.
Whatever, man. It's fine. We don't need to dive into it too much. I didn't care for it. You did. Now that we know it's there, it's
so Mallory's
so
she's like, I got to get my sister,
and Ben is like, I got to get my brother.
Yeah, and Ben knew where Lily was last, so
in the tree,
the tree. So they went back to the tree, which is odd that the witch didn't, because it seems like she had the power to make the tree go wherever.
I was going to ask you that. Does the tree tree appear and disappear and reappear wherever it's convenient for in the forest? Or,
well, I think she has control of your perception in the forest. The same way as if you want to look at like Blair Witch. Remember Blair Witch would make you disoriented, and go walking in circles.
Yeah. Okay.
So she just, she's a child of the forest, so she probably has, it's a Wiccan thing. She has control of your perception and manipulation.
Okay. All right. So so Ben. Okay. So then.
I felt that was for the narrative, they were able to find the tree easy. She could have made them not find the tree.
To me, yeah. I mean, it's okay for the sake of the movie. They have to find the tree,
right?
But if you're a witch and you can make it appear and disappear,
right.
And why wouldn't you just make it to where they can never find you?
Exactly. And then she could have,
but
because she did in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. So he gets there with rope and salt, and Mallory shows up and tries, explains a little bit. And look, he goes into the tree. If I'm not out in 10 minutes, he had gas too.
Yeah. He's
burn the tree down.
Bring the tree down.
He gets inside the tree. He comes across his brother.
Oh, so it's like a layer down there. It's like,
it is. It's huge, man.
Yeah. It almost a little bit reminded me like Pan's Labyrinth a little bit,
Yes.
But not as detailed, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just a little, and there's little nooks and branches and that kind of thing. And we see he finds his brother. Yeah,
finds Nathan, gets Nathan out of there, tells him to go.
Yeah.
Then he comes across the witch with the witch
Dylan.
Is eating Dylan.
Yeah, she's feasting on Dylan at this point.
Yeah.
And it's sad, poor little kid.
Yeah. It's almost like, do you think that these kids, this is a stupid analogy, but you know how a squirrel will gather nuts and and it's supposed to kind of like last a certain amount of time, and and maybe that's what this witch does. Like they're almost like in some sort of like
she was stockpiling food.
Stockpiling food, and they're they're asleep or whatever they are. They're in some sort of state where
slumber state.
And so gets Nathan. There's a scene with the witch and Ben and
they're fighting.
And we don't really see it. We just know it's happening. He shoots the witch. Of course, he gets scratched in the process, but he gets to near the end where he gets Nathan out.
Yeah.
Then he sees Mallory's. Yeah, Lily. Is it Lily? Okay.
Lily.
Yeah, Mallory's sister goes back to get her. Then we see the witch, and then of course there's the fight, and I think Lily flashes the camera to startle the witch, and Ben gets Lily out, and then he's starting to get out, and then that's when the witch grabs him, and there's a little bit of a struggle, and then I think Mallory's smart enough to take the salt, which the salt supposedly creates a barrier. I don't know, something.
It burns the witch.
Those and then
starts burning her face, and then don't they light the tree on fire?
I don't know if they light the tree at that point. I know maybe they do. Maybe
Then the witch gets out, and then Dad
crashes into
he actually pops out with driving the truck full blast into the tree.
Into the tree.
And the tree's on fire. Dad gets out of the car or gets out of the truck fine. And we're to assume that he killed the witch.
Yeah, I think that with the tree burning and the fact that there's salt around it, we're to assume it's the witch has been, I guess, I don't know, disposed of.
But I
don't know.
I guess maybe the truck broke the barrier.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So there's the little open-ended area.
There is
of the story
because I mean, I don't know how. I don't know if it said how. Like at the very end there, where we think everything is okay, and I think Mallory gets some flowers at the marina. And
it looks like there's a little bit of time has passed.
A little bit of time passed, and I know the dad has to recover, and so the mom is there to take them back.
So
I think summer's over, and hey, we're gonna go back home, and so Nathan, Ben, and the dad Liam and the mom are gonna they're gonna go back home, but I think it's just as a trip. Right?
Well, yeah.
Well, see, this is the thing. Let me ask you this, because why would the dad go back? Because the dad is staying there.
No, but
he was going to his brothers to recover for 2 weeks. So maybe that's where the mom was taking him. Okay, that makes more sense.
And then even he goes, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
So there's hope there.
There's hope, yeah. But Ben's he's accepted whatever happens.
Right.
But then he goes to give Mallory a hug. Mallory says,
wait. Mallory comes into the marina office, and there's all kinds of
the flowers. I mentioned the flowers. I mentioned the flowers.
She grabs a flower, sticks it in her hair.
Yeah. And then they say their goodbyes, and then it's a little awkward. But she says something about "Don't forget me," which I
don't know. But then she pulled him, or he pulled her, and they kissed.
Yeah, she gave him a little peck, I think, on the cheek or something, or maybe, and then
they kissed lips.
Then they kissed. Yeah.
And then she put the flower in his hair.
Yeah, and so he's in the car driving off, and he goes to smell the flower, and it's a fake flower.
Yeah, it's a silk flower. Yeah,
it's a silk flower. So then he starts to wonder, shit, did the witch get Mallory? What's going on here? Right. What's the story here? And then we see Mallory on the boat out in the middle of the water with like 4 kids.
Yeah, she's giving them like a boat lesson, but it's like getting to be dark.
It's dark, and it's this ominous kind of close up with her,
and there's
she looks
nobody else around.
No,
and it's her and like 4 or 6 kids.
4 kids. I think there were 4 kids.
Yeah, and then she's giving that weird.
Did you notice? I thought there were like flies flying around her.
No, I didn't notice. That.
Or maybe I just maybe it wasn't the case, and I just pictured. I don't know.
Maybe
because to me it would convey, right? Flies would convey like, this whole kind of death thing and stuff.
Right.
But I don't know. So we're to assume that the witch got Mallory.
Right. At first, when I first watched it, I thought it was open-ended to like make you wonder. But then rewatching it, it's definite that the witch did get Mallory, which sucks. I mean, but at least Ben and his family are away from the scariness. But the witches, they could make a part 2 and do it with a different family.
I don't know. To me, the ending was predictable. Like, okay, Mallory's, I don't know. Do they just do it just for the sake of trying to, I don't know, to leave it open-ended? I don't know, man. At times, just end a movie and end it, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess I get kind of tired of these tropey endings. I just don't. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever, man.
It's like, well, what are they going to do? How would you wanted to end it?
I don't know.
Happy or sad?
I don't know. That's the thing, man. I don't know how I wanted it. I guess here I have a problem with it, but I don't know how. I haven't thought about it enough to know how I wanted it to end. I just didn't like the ending.
Like maybe everything's fine and Mallory's not taking over. Ben leaves, but then we flash to like a new family moving in to
maybe
moving because they're moving back to their home after summer because they left their home as like a timeshare or whatever.
Perhaps,
and they're like, yeah, honey, can you bring me the stuff from the car?
Yeah.
And then kid goes up to his bedroom, and then maybe there's like glowing eyes in the closet.
Maybe. I think that's a decent ending. Yeah, I could be on board with that one. This ending I wasn't a fan of. Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah.
The ending it didn't like surprise me.
Right.
It didn't surprise me.
It was tropey.
Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man. Like to me, like The Dark and the Wicked, and we've mentioned this before.
Yeah.
The Dark and the Wicked, like there was no happy ending. Like the movie didn't warrant a happy ending.
Oh, there's
nothing good came out of the story. Like it was bad from the start to finish. And if you did some sort of like happy ending, well, what the hell were you doing?
Well,
you kind of screwed us on that. Like
that's why I was saying this movie was more straightforward and not indie.
Yeah,
because more of those like Hereditary and Dark and Wicked, they're more have an indie feel to them.
Yes,
and when a family is marked, a family's doomed. Yeah,
doomed.
And I'm sure we'll talk about Hereditary in a future.
I think we are doing. I think we're gonna. I think the next episode we're gonna be doing. We're gonna have all of us. It's gonna be I think you, me, Darren, and I think Jake's coming out. And we're gonna do Hereditary. We can dive into that one.
Yep.
Because that one has a lot of stuff going on there. And, but anyways, we could talk about that at another time.
Right.
All right, man. Well, I think we hit everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else that we, no?
Nothing else I can think of other than I think for me, this rating is about what I'd rated last week's episode. It's
about a 6 for you.
Yeah, it's about a 6 for me.
I don't know if it's about a 6 for me. It's maybe it could be a 5 to 6, but I mean, I say check it out. It's not horrible.
No, it's a good time waster.
Yeah, give it a watch. Cool. Well, again, man, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Everyone, thanks for listening. We appreciate it as usual. Everyone, stay safe out there. And we'll
until next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. You listened all the way to the end. We appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Ear for Fear Podcast, Twitter at Ear for Fear, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Ear for Fear Podcast. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There we list news and events. We're available on all the main platforms, so make sure you tell a friend. We hope you come back and get an earful.